Hi, and welcome to It Figures. Tonight I have a very special review for your guys and girls. It's Arrow. So if anyone knows me, you know what a fan of Arrow I am. Packaging wise, it's actually a pretty interesting package. It has an open window on one side, and the other side is closed with a picture of the actor himself. On the back of the packaging, it has the figures from the rest of the line. The only bad thing about this figure is the price point. I couldn't find him under $25 anywhere. But the good thing is, he is a very large figure. He's not small at all. So I don't really mind paying the $25 price tag for a large figure like this. Alright, so let's open up Arrow and see if he lives up to the television series. Once you get him out of the box, he's pretty well secured with a couple twisty ties around his feet and one around his waist. As I mentioned before, I absolutely love Arrow. In fact, I think it's the best superhero show that's ever been put on television. And now to actually have a figure of him long last is really exciting. This is the first figure I have gotten from the Arrow line, and I believe it may be the first figure I've gotten from this DC line ever. I might have gotten a few others, but if I have, I don't remember, and if I did, it was probably either only one or two. So if you watch the TV show, you know Arrow is usually shown either in a dark alleyway or a dark building or a dark street or it's raining, so you don't really get a chance to see his suit very well. Here you can just take a look at it in all of its detail. Here you can see he actually has a lighter colored green plus a darker colored green, and he has some kind of symbols going on his lower pants, which I've never noticed in the show. And it continues up his leg to his hips. He has some smaller arrows attached to his left wrist. And on his hip, he also has a few more spare arrows. The detail here is really nice with the bends in the cloth and the zipper running up the front. Across his chest, he has a rubber strap, which is actually separated from the figure. And as you can see, it's very loose on his back because it's attached to the strap. But it's really cool. I've never noticed that in the show either, on how this is made. It looks really awesome. And you can see the detail on his back too. Never noticed that either. On his lower back, he also has more lighter green symbols. I turned the light off so you can get a little bit better idea of what he would look like in the dark, as in the show itself. As you can see, the face is pretty much dead on to the actor that portrays the Arrow, from his scruffy chin to the mask itself, and the eyes are really, really well done. And I like how half of the hood hangs over his face like it does in the show, where he tries to, most of the time, hide his identity. I've been collecting amiibos so long, it's strange to have a figure that actually has some articulation. So let's take a look. His feet bend very strangely. As you can see, they turn, but instead of bending straight up, they kind of bend in a curve, which is really weird. Both knees bend, and this is another articulation I found kind of strange. Both legs actually bend out. His waist does not bend, but the middle of him here does, and it's a really nicely hidden joint because of the strap. So his arms go up and down, and they actually do come out, even though this one's really stiff, and I'm afraid of breaking it, but they do come out and they go back in. And of course his hand has full movement. His head is ball jointed, but it's kind of difficult to move it with a hood, but you can move it in different positions, but you probably just want to keep it in the same position. And you can't have Arrow without, well, arrows. And he comes with quite a lot of arrows, which is kind of cool. However, what you're seeing isn't exactly what you're seeing. And by that I mean there is a bunch of arrows bunched up together, which is awesome for his pack. And then you actually have two separate arrows, which if you take a close-up look at them, they're great. From the yellow and green feathers to the actual green tip. And now we have the other accessory that Arrow comes with, his compound bow. It'd be really cool if it popped open like it did in the show, but just take a look at the crazy details here on both sides of this thing. It's just nuts. And the string does pull back. Okay, so after about 20 minutes, I finally got him to hold his bow and arrow. And it took a little while for me to get that into his hand. His hand was sort of, I wouldn't say warped, but it didn't really want to fit around the bow that well. So I did have to mess with it a little bit. But now it fits really well. Alright, so let's bring up the old Figometer and see how Arrow stacks up. As for articulation, it's fantastic. The joints were a little stiff in a few places, but once you loosen them up, they're okay. The feet, however, are just kind of still bizarre. Sculpting wise, it's fantastic. From the folds in his clothes, to the arrows on his wrist, to the strap that holds his arrows to his back, to his hood, and especially his face. It's a pretty much dead-on likeness of the actor. Paint, there wasn't a whole lot to work with, being that he basically wears green, but I did like the fact that there are highlights on his clothes like that, and his arrows are also highlighted, as well as his shoes are different colors. So the paint applications here are really good. Accessories, of course, Arrow is nothing without his bow, and they did an incredible job bringing that to life. So in all, I would have to give Arrow a 5 out of 5. This is the Arrow figure that I've wanted ever since I started watching the show. I could not have been any more impressed with what DC has done with this figure as I am with the show itself. This is going to look great sitting on my shelf, or maybe even on top of my television as I watch Arrow every week. A little on the pricey side, but it's a large figure with lots of detail, and it's really well done. I hope to pick up Flash next in the series, and then maybe a few other characters down the line. But now I am just really happy with Arrow. So I hope you were happy with this review as well. If you were, please subscribe so I can see you next time.